In the twilight between heaven and earth, where shadows whisper secrets and stars shimmer like ancient fire, there echoes a song, timeless, radiant, and alive. It is the song of a humble harpist, a voice born from the desert sands and carried on the breath of angels. This is the story of Ephrem, the deacon poet, whose words became wings for the soul and whose hymns painted the sky with light. Across the centuries, his melody has woven through the hearts of seekers, lighting the path through darkness and despair. It is a song of faith, sacrifice, and a love so fierce it bends the very fabric of time. Prepare to journey beyond the veil of ordinary life into a realm where miracles stir, visions blaze, and the spirit dances on the edge of eternity. Listen closely, for the harp of Ephrem is awakening, and its music calls you to awaken too, to a world where the sacred and the sublime entwine, and where every whispered prayer becomes a soaring hymn. Step into the light. The story begins now. Chapter 1. The Flame of Nisibis. In the shadowed lands of ancient Nisibis, where the winds of Persia brushed the edges of Rome, a child was born beneath a sky of fire and prayer. His name was Ephrem, a name that would echo across deserts and mountains, from stone-hewn sanctuaries to the golden halls of eternity. He came into a world pierced by turmoil and trembling with hope. Pagan idols still held sway in dark corners, and the church, young and radiant, stood like a blossom breaking through stone. Ephrem grew amidst this tension, a soul caught between empire and eternity, silence and prophecy. From his youth, he thirsted not for gold nor praise, but for truth. Drawn like a moth to flame, he sought the wisdom of the holy men. Under the mantle of Bishop Jacob of Nisibis, the boy became disciple, and the disciple became servant of the word. Jacob saw in him not merely intelligence, but fire, the fire of the Spirit hidden beneath quiet humility. As the years passed, Ephrem rejected the world's thrones and riches. He embraced the path of a deacon, not for power, but to serve, to carry oil to the sick, bread to the hungry, and the sacred mysteries to trembling hands. He clothed himself in simplicity, but in his heart, hymns burned like stars. Chapter 2. The Poet of Heaven. When heresies arose like shadows to dim the light of truth, Ephrem did not draw a sword. He raised his voice. Through sacred song and holy verse, he battled confusion and error with beauty and clarity. He wove theology into melody and doctrine into delight. He sang of the Virgin's womb, the mystery of the cross, the river of baptism, and the wine of the Eucharist. They called him the harp of the Holy Spirit, for when he sang, hearts awakened. He composed over 400 hymns, each a jewel in the treasury of faith. Women and men, young and old, sang his verses in the streets and the catacombs. He taught not from a throne, but from a cave, from silence, from surrender. Chapter 3. Exile and Compassion. When the city of Nisibis fell to the Persians, Ephrem, now older and weathered, journeyed to Edessa, where faith had taken root like olive trees in rocky soil. There he dwelled as a hermit, in a cave that opened to the sky. But his retreat was not escape, it was intercession. During a great famine, Ephrem descended from his solitude and became the voice of mercy. He begged for grain, organized relief, and served the poor with his own hands. He washed their wounds, fed their children, and sang over their graves. In a time of fear and death, he became a shepherd of broken souls. And when plague struck, Ephrem, now old and frail, continued to serve until his final breath. He died in 373 AD, a man consumed not by sickness but by love. Chapter 4. Eternal Song. He left no palace, no empire, no army. Yet the Church remembers him as one of its greatest lights, a doctor of the Church, not crowned with gold, but with wisdom. His hymns still rise like incense in the east, and his verses echo in the west. His words are wings for the weary and fire for the faithful. Blessed is he who became small to make us great. who took on hunger that he might feed the world. Saint Ephrem, the poet of paradise, lives on wherever faith is sung, wherever mystery is pondered, and wherever beauty reveals the face of the divine. Chapter 5. The Last Light in Edessa. The city of Edessa lay beneath a heavy sky. Ashen clouds pressed low, and the earth was cracked and barren. Hunger was a silent thief, stealing the breath of children and dimming the eyes of mothers. The marketplace, once alive with shouts and laughter, was now a hollow echo of desperate footsteps and whispered prayers. Within this fragile world, a humble cave opened to the heavens, a sanctuary of quiet and grace. There lived Ephrem, the deacon poet, whose heart burned with a fire brighter than famine's shadow. Each dawn, he rose before the sun, his hands calloused from years of service, his voice ready to sing hymns that lifted weary souls from despair. But his song was not only of hope, it was a plea, an offering to God and man alike. O Lord, who feeds the ravens and clothes the lilies, look upon your children who hunger and thirst. Turn their lament into a hymn of joy, their tears into rivers of mercy. Ephrem did not wait for others to act. He became the hands that distributed bread, the arms that carried the sick, the feet that walked endless miles seeking relief. His robes were simple, his words tender, but his spirit was a fortress against despair. One evening, as the sun bled its last crimson over the city walls, Ephrem knelt beside a dying child. The child's eyes, wide with fear and fading light, met his. "Do not fear, little one," Ephrem whispered. "Though the night is long, the dawn is certain. The light that came to earth walks with us still." With trembling hands, Ephrem laid a palm upon the child's brow and prayed. His voice, though faint, carried a fierce love that filled the hollow room. The famine took many that year, but Ephrem's faith never faltered. His final days were marked by sacrifice, not sorrow, by giving, not grieving. And when the plague found him, weary and worn, he welcomed it as a passage, a doorway to the eternal feast prepared by the king he served. The city mourned their poet and servant, but those who remembered his hymns knew that Ephrem's song had only just begun, an eternal melody rising beyond the stars, forever lighting the hearts of the faithful. Chapter 6. The Song of the Virgin's Womb. In the hush of twilight, when the world seems to hold its breath between night and dawn, the voice of Ephrem rises, soft, yet unyielding, as a flame kindled in the deepest heart of faith. His hymns are no mere words. They're the breath of heaven drawn into human song. They flow like rivers of light, weaving mystery and revelation, sorrow and joy, into a tapestry of sacred truth. Among all his melodies, one shines with a radiant brilliance, the hymn on the Virgin's womb, a song that unfolds the miracle of God's incarnation, the unfathomable act where heaven kissed the earth and eternity embraced time. Listen closely. Behold the Virgin's womb, a temple made radiant, where God took flesh like dew upon the morning grass. The Word, eternal and boundless, became a child, a silent song that the stars could scarcely hold. He who hung the heavens on nothing, laid himself within her, small and humble. From this sacred cradle, salvation would rise, a light that darkness could never quench. With every verse, Ephrem paints the mystery of the Incarnation, not as distant doctrine, but as a living, breathing miracle. His words invite the soul to enter the humble stable, to gaze upon the newborn king wrapped in swaddling cloths, and to hear the angels' chorus echoing through eternity. His hymn is a bridge between the infinite and the finite, between God and humanity, a melody that calls the faithful to wonder and worship. But Ephrem's gift is not only in beauty, it is in transformation. His songs shape hearts, awaken faith, and nurture hope. They teach that God's greatest power is found in his meekness, that the throne of heaven rests in a mother's arms. As the echoes of his hymn fade into silence, the listener is left with a sacred truth burning quietly within. In the smallness of a child, the world is made whole. In the silence of a womb, the voice of God is heard. Ephrem's voice still sings, carried on the winds of prayer, inviting all who listen to join the eternal chorus of love and light. The next morning, Yamada returned to the temple, eager to learn more about the benefits of ginger water. As she climbed the mountain path, she noticed that her body felt lighter and full of energy, a testament to ginger's power to strengthen her immune system. Upon reaching the temple, Yamada found monk Zenji sitting in the garden, surrounded by flowers and medicinal plants. The monk welcomed her with a warm smile and invited her to sit beside him. "Good morning, Yamada," Zenji said. "I see you've returned to learn more about the benefits of ginger water." Yamada nodded eagerly. "Yes, Master Zenji. Since I started drinking ginger water every morning, I feel stronger and healthier. I'm excited to discover what other secrets this miraculous root holds." Zenji smiled and began to explain the second benefit. "Today, my dear Yamada, I will tell you how ginger water can help improve digestion and relieve stomach issues." The monk pointed to a ginger plant growing nearby. Ginger contains an enzyme called zingiberine that helps break down proteins in our digestive system. This means that ginger can aid digestion and reduce feelings of heaviness or discomfort after meals. Yamada listened closely as Zenji continued. Moreover, ginger has anti-inflammatory properties that can reduce bloating and irritation in the digestive tract. This is especially beneficial for those who suffer from conditions like gastroesophageal reflux disease or indigestion. Chapter 8. The Eternal Echoes. Long after Ephrem's earthly voice fell silent, his song continued to ripple through the halls of time, an eternal echo that shaped the soul of Christian worship and whispered the heart of divine mystery to generations yet unborn. His hymns became the sacred breath of liturgy, rising like incense in the churches of the East and reaching the West in their gentle power. Monks and pilgrims, priests and poets, all found in his words a compass for their faith, a light to guide their weary steps. In the ancient city of Edessa, where his footsteps once pressed soft upon the dust, his legacy grew like a mighty tree, its roots deep in tradition and its branches stretched wide toward heaven. His poetic prayers sculpted the language of worship, weaving theology and devotion into melodies that opened the soul to God's embrace. Ephrem's influence crossed boundaries of culture and creed. In the shimmering courts of Byzantium, his hymns were sung alongside the sacred chants of the great cathedrals. In the monasteries of the West, his spirit stirred the hearts of saints who sought a deeper union with the divine. Yet beyond his public glory, Ephrem's true legacy lived in the quiet chambers of the heart, a testament to a spirituality rooted in humility, compassion, and relentless love. He was a man who walked among the poor and the suffering, whose prayers were not for honor, but for healing. His life was a mirror of his faith, simple in appearance, profound in depth. The harp he played was not made of strings alone, but of sacrifices offered in silence and a soul attuned to the eternal song of grace. Through trials and persecutions, famine and plague, Ephrem's spirit never wavered. He taught that the greatest power is found in surrender, that the divine melody is sweetest when carried on the wings of humility. Today, as we listen to the faintest strains of his ancient hymns, we are invited to join the chorus, to become harps themselves, vibrating with a love that transcends time and space. Ephrem's legacy is not a relic of the past, but a living flame, calling each soul to sing with courage, hope, and unwavering faith.